represented in the first heat tonight by Ron Pine and Bob Brewer in car number 2. Now the point scoring system, 3 points for a win, 2 points for a second, 1 point for a third, and we'll keep those points going on our Tetron Engineering scoreboard right throughout the night. The reason the timer is ticking away in the background, in the back straightaway, is the fact that the Americans have been given 2 minutes to make the track because both Australian drivers are ready.
Now, Ross, we know that the Americans are very keen to atone for that third test lost in Brisbane. Tactics or what?
Yes, they're just going to say, look, we'll get out there when we're ready. Charlie Schwartz, hot to trot, and John Soares, the American captain. A bit disappointed with the few car problems experienced in Brisbane. Now, Ron Pine is going to take grid position 1, and John Soares goes up into 2, Charlie Schwartz in 3, and Bob Brewer in 4.
Piney's not going to give him much room.
No, he's just having a little look high up on the track there, I reckon, in turn 1 and 2. So here we go. We're set with the action of the second test here at the Motordrome, the 4th test in the series. Good start. John Soares on the outside, Ron Pine on the inside. The Americans grab the advantage. Charlie Schwartz coming up on the inside of Bob Brewer. The Americans have got a 4-2 situation at the moment as they come down to complete the first lap of the test. It's John Soares out in front. Ron Pine running second. He doesn't want to let Charlie Schwartz get by. It's going to be a 5-1 for the United States. Come on, Ronnie. Get out, my boy. Charlie Schwartz is up on the inside and it's 5-1 to the Yankees. John Soares and Charlie Schwartz running Ron Pine into the wall. I wonder as he goes, oh, John Soares is in trouble. But Charlie Schwartz will protect him. He'll just sit down on the inside and let Soares gun it back to the lead. He won't bother. Now here come the Aussies. They're starting to put the pressure on. Bob Brewer gets by on the inside. He said, move over, Ronnie. I'm going to try and push these boys away. John Soares and Charlie Schwartz, they're driving side by side. Bob Brewer will have to drive over the top of them. Here's a chance. Charlie Schwartz shot away from John Soares. Bob Brewer aggressively threw on the inside. He got there. Oh, yes. Bobby split them up. Bobby Brewer has split up the Yanks. However, the steward has said Bob Brewer back 1 place. Cutting the infield, making a pass with 4 wheels on the infield, not allowed. The Americans get 5-1.
Fair dinkum. Are you allowed to drive tactics in this side by side going down the back straight?
Well, as long as you're on the track, I guess that's fine. Wow, what a start to our test.
Who'd want to be a steward?
05.155, and the Yanks away to a big one. 5 points to 1.
Second test, second heat. 4th test, second heat. Mike Klein in the number 3. Alan Baker, the Gunnedah Flash, on the outside of the front row. Scott Blomqvist on the outside of the second row, and Grenville Anderson from Lismore. Come on, you Aussie fans, time to cheer as we get underway with Heat 2, and Baker has won the start for Australia. Klein comes back, push and shove all over the place. Grenville Anderson forces past Blomqvist. America first, Australia now with Anderson. Something's gone amiss with Baker. The cranky Yankees are coming back as Anderson nearly loses it. The Americans in a 4-2 situation once again. Klein out in front from Anderson. Blomqvist loses it, allowing Baker to try and make a bit of a move. But the battle is up front. Keep your eyes on Grenville Anderson as he closes on Mike Klein. On the inside, Anderson loves this track here. Klein has made a bit of a blue. Anderson just can't squeeze past on this occasion. The other two are out of it. America still in a 4-2. Anderson pushing. Baker into the pits. Grenville Anderson can't make a blue from here. He's got to try and get past Mike Klein. He's got 3/4 of a lap. He gives him a nudge. Out goes Klein. Anderson, the race is stopped. Well, fair dinkum. Now, the question here, was Anderson forcing on Klein? Was Anderson forcing on Klein? The steward has made 2 controversial decisions in the first 2 heats.
And yes, the decision by the steward is Grenville Anderson to the rear.
This is not the 4th of July. Fair dinkum.
Okay, Mike Klein will have position 1. Blomqvist will have 2, and Grenville Anderson has really got the job on his hands.
Australia have chased leather all for the last 2 days at the SCG. They're chasing again. Anderson's not happy. Why don't we start them 3 abreast? So, ladies and gentlemen, 2 laps to go. Now, will the Americans drive side by side and give Anderson no way through? Or what will they do? Who will go to the front? Klein, Blomqvist, Anderson. Race start, slow race start, side by side. Blomqvist shoots through and Anderson's trying to split them already. Side by side the Americans. He can't get through, he has! Oh, brilliant drive, Grenville Anderson. Now Klein comes back at him, squeezes him out. Come on, Mr. Stewart. That's got to be Klein to the rear. Well, fair dinkum. Anderson had made the pass for mine. Anderson had made the pass. Klein squeezed. Who gets the nod this time?
Well, the official word is, wait for it, Grenville Anderson to the rear.
Oh, you're kidding. Anderson for mine had made the pass. Klein came back, squeezed, and Anderson had nowhere to go except like a watermelon seed. And he's been relegated to the rear again.
Baker's coming back on. What's happening here? I tell you what, Alan Baker is coming back onto the track. We'll have to check. Look out. Here comes the American captain, John Soares.
Don't send Charlie out, for goodness sake.
So, John Soares comes out to lodge a complaint. Chief Steward says Alan Baker cannot start. Mainly because a lap had been scored.
It was a good try though.
Oh, you got to give it a go.
Got to give it a go.
Got to give it a shot. Good on you, Al. Keep the pressure on him.
2 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on to your hats. Can Grenville Anderson split the cranky Yankees again? Start. Goes the inside line, Grenville Anderson. Gets a bit of a tap on Mike Klein. Blomqvist is shot through. Anderson lost it coming out of turn 1. Now he's got some ground to make up. He's given them a bit of a fly the time, Grenville Anderson. The Americans close in tandem. They're looking at a 5-1 result at the moment. Grenville Anderson gives Mike Klein another push. Klein waves his fist at the marshal. He's had all the luck. He shouldn't be waving anything. Grenville Anderson now has got a half a lap. Gives Klein another push. But Klein, showing great test match skill, closes out Grenville Anderson. Anderson has one more debate. Klein, 5-1 the Americans. But ladies and gentlemen, what a heat. How about a big hand for all the drivers? Oh, super racing.
Oh, Mike, this is test match racing that we haven't seen at the Motordrome for seasons. And this is the sort of stuff that we saw when the Americans first came out here to issue challenge to Australian drivers. And now we're seeing very, very close. It's aggressive, but it's not dangerous driving in any way, shape or form. A bit of aggression is there. And I tell you what, we've got some great racing coming up as Grenville Anderson and Ron Pine come back onto the track. And I need to check the scoreboard. I've lost count altogether at the moment. Another 5-1 to the Yanks. America 10, Australia 2. Now, on the track, Charlie Schwartz to the United States. Grenville Anderson getting back into the pit area for a quick check on something. A flat right front. The 2 Americans are on the track. Ron Pine is there. So the Jack coming out. I think they're going to try and take the 2 minutes to get Grenville Anderson here. But if he can't make it, the Australians can substitute. But they've got 2 minutes to change the Grenville Anderson tyre if they can. Another car will be on standby in case Grenville Anderson's tyre cannot be changed in that period of time. America 10, leading Australia 2, and feverish work on the Grenville Anderson car on the infield pit area to try and get that right-hand front tyre changed within the 2-minute period. The Ron Pine crew is over there to assist Grenville Anderson and his crew. 45 seconds have gone, but I see Alan Baker sitting in the car waiting to come out if Anderson cannot possibly get out here in time. 1 minute to go.
They took an eternity to get that jack under the car, Ross, so it must be really down. Some real problems there for Grenville Anderson, but by gee, he raced brilliantly.
Yeah. Drivers are allowed to substitute prior to the start of a race if no laps have been scored, and no driver is allowed to replace more than 3 times. Baker goes into position 1 for Australia. Come on, you Aussie fans, we need to hear it for the local boys. Alan Baker and Ron Pine doing it for Australia. And for the United States, the number 3 car back on the second row is Mike Klein up front. Charlie Schwartz. They're racing. On the inside, Alan Baker on the outside. Charlie Schwartz, now a yellow. Now a yellow light. And the chief steward has apologised. That was his problem. He put the green on and then the yellow came back on. So a mistake by the chief steward.
He's a good bloke. We'd miss the start. You're a good bloke, Ronnie.
Okay. Standing by for another go at it. Alan Baker and Charlie Schwartz up front. There's the start. Schwartz on the outside, Baker on the inside. Schwartz lifting that front inside wheel, gets plenty of... Oh, Ron Pine! Ron Pine and Mike Klein, they came together, and Ron Pine has slammed into the concrete wall, and he's out of the car, he's fuming. Ronnie Pine is spitting chips. Look out, Mike Klein, Ron Pine is gunning for you. Oh, that car's destroyed. Ron Pine's car is a mess. Ron Pine is calling Mike Klein out of the car. And look at that car of Ron Pine's, seemingly from this far away, and admittedly we're right on the far side of the track. That car looks a wreck. Gee, the pressure's going to be on Australia now. Ron Pine is coming across, and is that steam coming out of his ears? It sure is. Piney is fired up. And the number 3 car, I'll just stand by for confirmation. Mike Klein has been given the black flag. Now, let me explain the reason why. Mike Klein is to go infield because he took another car out of the race. If Ron Pine was allowed to continue or able to continue, then Mike Klein would have been on the rear of the field. But because Ron Pine is out, Mike Klein is also out of the race.
As Ronnie Pine's car is dragged, albeit bits and pieces, into the infield, and it was dreadfully bad luck because Ron looked as though he was starting to get on song here tonight. Australia were looking down the barrel at 10-2. He's got a bit of a headache, Ross Allen. I know he's wandering around in the infield there. He's pretty upset, but I suppose in some respects that's racing. You're down there with Ronnie Pine. How does he really feel?
Yeah, Mike, I'm just going to first of all check with Ron. Ronnie, are you okay? I mean, that car hit the wall pretty bloody hard.
Mate, they breed them tough up where I come from. They tell me you can't fight on a racetrack. I've never been guilty of putting anybody into the fence. And if they knew they were going to get beat tonight, and there's only one way they're going to get beat, is knock a couple of guys out, and they've started with me. I just hope they can live with it, because what they done over there I'll never be guilty of. I'm totally disgusted, and it's a bad thing for Speedway. These Yanks ought to pack them up and go home right now.
Okay, you've heard it all from Ronnie Pine. He is upset. Mike Klein to go out of the race.
Thanks, Roscoe. Mike Klein has got ahead to the infield. Charlie Schwartz will have to do battle with Alan Baker and Bobby Brewer. Now, they're still working on the Grenville Anderson car over there too to try and get it right. There seems to be some major problems, but the Australians now with a real chance to climb back into this test match. Alan Baker on the inside with Charlie Schwartz, and Bobby Brewer has taken the place, as per the rules of test match racing, of Ronnie Pine. And have a look at that car of Ronnie Pine's. It is absolutely demolished. You can't put it together with masking tape for the rest of the evening. She's a shot duck. So, Klein's still out there. Now he pulls back into the infield, and we will have a 2-on-1 basis. Nothing better than Charlie Schwartz would love here is a victory and deny Australia to get back into this test match. Charlie, you've got to do it all on your own, but when you have a look at the quality of drive that Charlie Schwartz is, the Australians have a giant battle on their hands still.
And Bob Brewer is allowed to substitute because no laps were scored. We did put that out to you earlier. Brewer allowed to substitute, no laps scored.
Okay, here we go. A real chance for Australia now. Baker has got to win the start and Brewer's got to trail him through. Baker on the inside. Schwartz, tremendous from Charlie Schwartz. Baker comes back at him now. Come on, you Aussies. Cheer loudly. But Schwartz has got the jump. Baker trying to close. Brewer can't get in there either. Schwartz now leads. It is a 3-3 basis here. An all tied up situation. One of the Aussies has got to get past Charlie Schwartz, and Schwartz is doing it brilliantly out front at the moment. The sole American in this, the third heat, and he's doing it superbly. Schwartz, Baker now starting to close a little bit. Up on the rear bumper bar. Come on, Alan Baker, squeeze up on the inside. Schwartz holding him at bay. Baker now with a real chance. Schwartz throws it into the third corner. Gets around. A little nudge from Baker. Makes a blow. Schwartz now. Baker on the inside comes back again. Brewer's trying to close too. Schwartz drifts high, doing it superbly. And Charlie Schwartz, I think, is about to hold him out. Baker, 2 more turns to get in front, and he's not going to do it. And Charlie Schwartz grabs 3, and Australia grabs 3. Brilliant drive, Charlie Schwartz. Ladies and gentlemen, give credit where credit's due. Great drive to Charlie Schwartz.
Yeah, terrific. And what pressure Alan Baker put to him. Didn't Baker serve him right up? And Charlie Schwartz had to be Charlie Schwartz at his best to grab that heat. A 3-all situation in a heat time of 1 minute 4.447 to give a 3-all heat situation, and that makes the United States 13 and the Australians 5. So 18 points down after 3 heats. 13 of those 18 points have gone to the Americans.
Ross, I think we're looking at a situation here. Anderson looks as though he's got some problems with the car. He's got his helmet on. He may come out. Now, so far in the 2 heats that Alan Baker has started off the front, has not had the power to go on to grab that lead first up and really put the pressure on Americans. Although there seems to be a change here. Maybe Alan's got to go back the second row. The man I think that can do it for Australia is Anderson.
Okay, well, Grenville Anderson coming out. Here comes Grenville, the current New South Wales champion. Give it to him, Grenville. Scott Blomqvist and Grenville Anderson on the front row of the grid. Alan Baker and John Soares on the second row. And unfortunately, I see some people out there running for cover. It looks as if we're going to start to get a drop of moisture from these threatening storm clouds. Storms on the track and storms above the Motordrome as we get set for Heat 4 of the Tetron Engineering International Super Sedan Test. No start. No start. Grenville Anderson's going to start trying to play a little bit of tactics here and try and upset the Americans. And when you've got a guy like Scott Blomqvist sitting on the left-hand side of your car, you really do need to get a good hole shot. And Anderson is going to try and do that. Coming out of turn 4. On the inside, Blomqvist. On the outside, Anderson. There goes the green. Blomqvist inside, Anderson outside. Anderson puts the pedal to the metal, and round the outside he goes. Blomqvist followed by Anderson, and Baker's holding out John Soares at the moment. Baker doing a good job of blocking. He's going to let Grenville Anderson work on Scott Blomqvist. Baker will block, and he'll hope that Anderson can get up on the inside of Blomqvist. Blomqvist the leader for the United States. Here comes Grenville Anderson. He's got him! Grenville Anderson goes to the lead. Brilliant driving by Anderson. Well, we managed to call it right. He's blown it. Oh, he had. How did he hold that? That's sensational driving by Anderson. That car was gone for the world when he went into the middle of turn 1, 2. And somehow this guy, this brilliant guy, kept it all together as the rain comes tumbling down. Grenville Anderson says, I don't care about the moisture from the skies. Chalk this one up to the Australian Kangaroos. Grenville Anderson, let's bring this house down. Grenville Anderson is first. Second place goes to Scott Blomqvist. Third to Alan Baker. And the Aussies are back in the test. Great drive by Grenville Anderson. It looked as if somehow or other he was gone in the middle of turn 1, 2. The car got locked right up, and only the skill of Grenville Anderson was able to keep it together. Great drive by Grenville Anderson.
And Ross, nearly, and I think it was the fact that Anderson looked like spinning out. Blomqvist saw a chance, put on the gas, because Alan Baker was about to go right past Blomqvist coming into turn 1. It could have been max points for the Kangaroos.
Well, the Australians are back in it. United States 15, Australia 9. There are 6 points the difference, and we're going to try and press on with as many heats as we can before the track starts to get a little dangerous. Bob Brewer and Grenville Anderson. Come on, you Aussies. Let's hear it for the local boys. Grenville Anderson and Bobby Brewer. And come on, you Americans. Don't let the Yanks down. If you want to support them, let's hear it for John Soares and Mike Klein. All right, Grenville Anderson has pole position, heat number 5. John Soares on the outside. Grenville, I think, will set the pace right from the word go and hope that Bobby Brewer can hold out Mike Klein. The track is going to be completely different to what they competed on in the first 4 heats. They'll have to make an adjustment there. Green flag, Grenville Anderson. John Soares tucks down tight and low. Bob Brewer's out of calculations at the moment. So really the pressure's on Bob Brewer at the back of the pack. We can virtually forget the leader, although Grenville Anderson's under plenty of pressure from John Soares. Soares trying to poke up on the inside of Anderson, couldn't quite come through, and Grenville Anderson maintains position number 1. But the Australian fans are cheering for Bob Brewer as he starts to put the pressure to Mike Klein down back straight away. Brewer knows that he's got to get this position. Mike Klein keeping it down tight and low. Bob Brewer trying to drive up on the inside of him, lost a little bit of ground on the back of the pack. Anderson's not going to come back and help. He's going to kill the 3 points up front. He's just going to hope that Bob Brewer can push up on the inside of Klein. He's getting closer. Chasing Bobby. Bob Brewer now, 1 lap to go to try and peg back Mike Klein. Oh, Soares is in trouble. Soares is in trouble. The motor's gone. The motor, he's got him. 5-1, the Aussies, you betcha! And bad luck for the Yanks. Mike Klein is aggro. Mike Klein is aggro. Let's check the stats first of all. 1 minute 4.356. 5-1 to Australia.
Well, it's really got them back in the test match. The 2 big guns coming out for the United States, Scott Blomqvist and Charlie Schwartz. And Alan Baker will come out And let's see who it is. Grenville Anderson for Australia. He's been the king of the Aussies so far tonight.
Mike, let's have a quick check on the progress score. There's only two the difference now. It's United States 16, Australia 14.
Now, Australia look as though they're going to start Alan Baker in the front, are they? Or is Anderson has to be that way? As per the program, this is Heat 6. Baker has to start up front, Anderson in the second row. Now Alan Baker has got to take on Scotty Blomqvist here, hoping to get in front. Anderson should have the power to go on with Schwartz, and that should be a great battle here. This is going to be a great heat. 2 points the difference, 16-14 the United States of America lead. Coming up now, Blomqvist, the master. Baker loves test match racing, plays cat and mouse, and will have a restart.
Yeah, good bit of tactic by Baker. He backed away. He knows that Blomqvist is one of the top guns in the United States team, so he'll do everything he can to upset Scott Blomqvist's approach to the race, but Blomqvist does take a slow approach to the start.
Now, the Australians have got to go for max points. They cannot just go 3-3. They've got to go to close the gap. Now, Blomqvist. Baker goes with him this time. Baker looks as though he's got the jump. Alan Baker around the outside. Blomqvist does it easily on the inside. Schwartz gets the push from Anderson. Anderson now moving. Oh, the Yanks. Great driving, Blomqvist. He just backed off, waiting for Schwartz to come through. Now Anderson's got to split the Americans. Oh, this could be disaster for Australia. And if this is the case, and it is a 5-1 result for America, put this down to Scotty Blomqvist. He just backed off the pace, allowing Schwartz to get up in a second position. Now Anderson and Baker have really got their job cut out in trying to close the gap. Alan Baker won't take any further part. It's up to Anderson to split these two. Blomqvist leads quite comfortably. Schwartz now will just play the blocking tactics, not allowing Anderson to get through. Now if he persists with that, Anderson's likely to pick him off. Blomqvist, Schwartz, Anderson, Baker a long way back. Anderson pushing very hard, but it looks as though... Oh, Schwartz is gone! Schwartz has made a blue! Anderson now, can he get up and get Blomqvist? I don't think so. But it's a 4-2 result for America, and they stretch their lead to 4 points, to 20 points to 16. Anderson moved through very, very quickly, and that was a timely miss and a timely gain for Australia. Bad luck to the Americans. They had a 5-1 result staring him in the face, and Rosrod make that 20 points to 4-16.
You're dead right, and this is test match racing at its best. There was Blomqvist, as Mike called it, backing off, letting a teammate come up into second place. It worked, but then we saw Anderson in true test match spirit fight back. As soon as Charlie Schwartz made one mistake, Anderson nailed him and kept Australia from another 5-1 embarrassment that we didn't need at that stage after getting the 5-1 before. A 4-point break at the halfway mark. United States 20, Australia 16. The two Australian cars on the track, Bob Brewer and Grenville Anderson. And Charlie Schwartz comes out for the Yanks, goes up into his position. The other driver should be John Soares unless they're making a substitution, which they are entitled to do. Blomqvist is coming out for the Yanks for the looks. Yep, Blomqvist is out. They're still working on the John Soares car. Heads are poked inside engines there to try and see what a problem is. Blomqvist comes out to make a replacement. He has to go into position 4. Bob Brewer on the inside, Charlie Schwartz on the outside, powering into turn 1-2. Brewer trying to come up on the inside of Schwartz. Schwartz on the outside, Brewer on the inside. Brewer on the inside, Schwartz on the outside. This is door handle test match action at its best. On the outside, Schwartz. On the inside, Brewer. Brewer will not give in. Schwartz came at him on the outside. That is fantastic car racing. You've never seen better car racing than that. It ain't over yet. Brewer's over. Oh, brilliant drive by Brewer. Grenville Anderson gets the touch on Charlie Schwartz. Anderson's on the infield. Well, brilliant driving by Bob Brewer to nail Scotty Blomqvist and Charlie Schwartz. Something's gone wrong with the Anderson car. He reared up onto the infield. Oh, but fantastic drive. This is a Newcastle boy, and he has served it right up to the best of the Yanks. Go, Bobby, go. Down back straight away, Bob Brewer, one of the most exciting heats. Let's bring this house down for Newcastle's Bob Brewer. Brewer is first. He got the 3-point situation. Grenville Anderson on the infield. Something's gone wrong with the car. Are Australia down to a 2-car team? Boy, the pressure's going to be on them if they are. The Anderson car's fired up again, so there mightn't be a real problem.
Well, what a heat this should be. The two drivers that have been absolutely marvellous tonight, Grenville Anderson, Scott Blomqvist, Mike Klein and Alan Baker. Come on, you Aussies, we need you to cheer long and hard. The Aussies, can they close the gap? Let's see what happens. Blomqvist, Anderson, Blomqvist away, Anderson just tucks in, we'll have a restart.
Just a correction to that statement I made, Mike. I was looking at one heat ahead there. We're only up to heat 8. Blomqvist is not substituting here. He was originally supposed to be in this heat.
My fault.
So we've corrected that so that we don't get people into a panic about the number of substitutions.
Can't let you take the blame for that one. Here we go. Blomqvist. Anderson tucks downstairs again. Now he has the gas on and they're racing. A late call. Anderson around the outside. Baker's up into third. Come on, Grenville Anderson. Blomqvist, Anderson, door handle to door handle. Blomqvist with the upper hand. 3-3 result. Mike Klein trying to push through. Alan Baker's got to go to the block. Anderson, you've got to chase. The two Aussies doing it well. Anderson right on the hammer of Blomqvist. He's trying to slow down a little bit, allowing Mike Klein to catch up. But that's going to allow Grenville Anderson a chance to bite away at his bumper bar. And he's doing that. Grenville Anderson now chipping away at Blomqvist. End up on the door handles. Grenville Anderson. Blomqvist holds firm. Alan Baker hanging on to third position. Anderson now. Blomqvist gets up on his left-hand tyre. Not coming undone. 3-3. Blomqvist, Anderson, Baker, Klein. Glorious driving by Blomqvist up front. And this is the way it's going to finish, I think. Scotty Blomqvist slows markedly. Trying to play tactics on the last corner. And it's a 3-3 result. Scott Blomqvist trying everything to get Mike Klein into that race. Really, he is a very, very heady young man. A brilliant drive by Scott Blomqvist. He slowed markedly on that last corner, trying to force the Aussies into error and get his teammate in the points, but he couldn't do so. Scott Blomqvist brings up the 3, and Alan Baker and Grenville Anderson, the other 3 for the Australians. It's the status quo. The cranky Yankees lead by 4.
Stand by for the start to Heat 9 of the Tetron Engineering Sedan Test. On the outside, John Soares. On the inside, Bob Brewer. Brewer inside, Soares outside. Soares trying to come back down on Bob Brewer. Brewer trying to keep up on the inside of Soares. The American captain goes to the lead. Bob Brewer and John Soares. Alan Baker nowhere to go. And problems in turn 4 with Bob Brewer and John Soares. Bumping coming through turn 4. Soares went completely round, did a 180. Alan Baker had nowhere to go and slammed into the front end of the John Soares car. And the way helmets are coming off down there, it doesn't look good for those two cars. Now Soares' crew are checking to see his steering to see if it's right. And maybe Bob Brewer's going to have to do it all on his own. Alan Baker is climbing out of the car. Now he's back in again. He's reaching for the helmet back again. Maybe the Alan Baker car is not as bad as he first thought. Bob Brewer having the finger waved at him at the moment.
Ross, I don't think a lap was completed. Now Grenville Anderson is in the car.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'll just check. And we have confirmed that there is no lap completed, so Australia will be allowed to substitute if possible.
Alan Baker having a quick look under the hood for the Moree Boomerang.
And the Americans will be allowed to substitute for their number 1 car because no lap was scored. Now the bonnet going back on the Alan Baker Falcon.
And the tow truck's pulled away from the Soares car too, so it might be okay. Lil and the boys might have fixed it.
Yeah, maybe the case.
Good on you, Lil.
Soares is fired up. Okay, the Americans cheer because the American captain, John Soares, is back in the action. And
look out, John, you're just about to get a shunt in the boot.
Bobby Brewer is about to line John Soares up. John Soares says,
ladies and gentlemen, Demo Derby.
settle down, Bob, my boy. Ron Pine, the Australian captain, out there.
We're behind, Bobby. Don't do any damage.
Bob's just letting him know it's no good trying to ruffle my feathers, kid. Mike Klein down on the infield. It appears that the Americans are upset with the decision on Bob Brewer.
They've both got the caution flag, I think, Roscoe.
Waiting to see what the steward's decision was on the incident.
Well, I think the status quo. Must have been a little bit of wet weather down there. As is, here we go as the rain starts to tumble, Roscoe. Let's get a start here.
All right, what a fiery heat. Brewer on the inside, Schwartz on the outside in a complete change around of positions. Soares trying to squeeze through the middle and hold Alan Baker out. Charlie Schwartz trying to come up on the inside. Down main straight away. And the leader is Bob Brewer for Australia. Charlie Schwartz running second. Alan Baker trying to get up on the inside of John Soares. Soares holding down third. Baker pegs him on the inside. Baker goes up into third place. The Australians have got 4-2. They're right back in the test. Brewer leads from Schwartz, followed by Baker, and then comes Soares. 1.5 laps left to go as the rain starts tumbling down again. Down main straight away. Brewer got to fight on for one more lap. Schwartz running second. And here's John Soares starting to come back at Alan Baker in these very, very wet conditions now. Rain tumbling down again as we're in heat 9 of this rain-interrupted test match. Bob Brewer comes home to take it for Australia. Bob Brewer first. Charlie Schwartz second. Alan Baker is third. John Soares has gone up onto the infield. He's submitted. So 4 points to 2. Australia trail by 2 points. The USA 28, Australia 26. 2 points and only 3 heats to go. 1 minute 8.300 for the statistics.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the two captains meeting at the moment, John Soares and Ron Pine, underneath the Chief Steward's tower. Ross Allen is going down to join both our captains. Ron, of course, for most of the meeting tonight, a non-competing captain owing to a little head-on with the wall coming out of turn 2. John Soares has raced pretty well tonight, and I think you'll all agree with me with the status quo 28-26 has been a sensational test match. One of the best we've seen in Australia for many, many years. It really has been electric racing with no inch asked for and none given. And I'm sure all drivers have thoroughly enjoyed the heat of battle tonight, except you, Ron. I'm sure that you probably haven't enjoyed it too much, but you've been a part and parcel of it, and it's been a fantastic test, and congratulations should go to all drivers and crews.
John Soares and Ron Pine, have we reached the decision outright on the test match?
Yeah, it's half over, and it's more than half over. We're ahead, so we win. It's pretty simple. That's the rules.
Okay. Ron, what's your response? I know it's probably a hard way to go out, but I suppose those statistics are a little hard to argue with.
Yeah, you can't argue with the points on the board, mate. But I'd like to I'd like to say that it wasn't a bad test on the night given the circumstances. It would have been a little better, and I think a lot of people know that it wouldn't have went the way it did go if we'd have had 4 cars.
Yeah, it's pretty good observation. So, ladies and gentlemen, the test match is declared as it stands at heat 9. The Americans win by 2 points, 28 points to 26. Very, very difficult circumstances for everybody. Disappointing circumstances for everybody because